Okay. The session is being recorded for our future reference, and let's begin with it. First of all, before I have already asked everyone to introduce yourself. I haven't introduced myself because I prefer, first of all, let's talk about the main subject first. And then when I feel it's the right time to introduce myself, we will talk about that. So in this session for today, we'll be having for around 1.5 or 2 hours. And we'll be starting from the data management before we get into data quality and its implementation. Let's try to understand what is data management first. And then once we all are clear on the same page with respect to what is data management and why do we do this data management, then we will get into the how to do data management, specifically the data quality for which this session is intended for. So first of all, in simple, in a very short statement, data management is a discipline that teaches you a trusted framework, best practices of managing enterprise data. So why do we have this data management? First of all, we all know that we are in a digital world. Now, when we talk about the economy, we talk about digital economy, where we talk about data exchange, we talk about data protection, and we have various laws and regulations coming across when it comes to data, AI, and we all are aware of this because we are the citizens living in this digital age. So having said that, data is the one of the major important raw material, you call it. You have heard a statement like data is the new oil, it's the new raw material, which uh, on which the whole economy is based on. So when it comes to this uh, this where we are having data in our in globally the data exchange happening. So there has to be some standards in place. There has to be some best practices in place. So majorly there are two organizations, international organizations, which works continuously on best practices and maintaining the standards and principles of data across the globe. The first one is EDM Association. We have a DCAM framework which supports global exchange of data and the data management framework. And we have DAMA International, which talks about what is data management, why we need data management, and what are the best practices of data management. Not only this, data management is important for any organization who deals with data. It is data driven. These organizations also helps in building the skill sets of the data management professionals. So if you go to this sites, this organization site, DAMA International or EDM Association, you will see the related certifications and which tells in the market that the person who has achieved the level of certification through these standard international bodies, that they have the certain set of a good set of knowledge to uh, train the individuals, train the organization people, and set up the data management function in any organization. Now we have seen that we have these standards, these organizations who are doing the best practices. Now, when we talk about the data economy, we have the organizations who talks about global norms and maturity indexes. You can refer to some organizations which I have mentioned here: Digital Trade and Governance Hub, GW, Elliott, and all this. So these are basically those organizations keeps which keeps track of the maturity index of data globally, country wise. So basically, data is one of the main asset of all organization, all countries in these current days. And when it comes to data exchange, when it comes to data protection, so the governance and laws comes into the place. And when there is governance laws, then there is obviously the level of data maturity, and the data maturity and the related norms which has to be followed. And these organizations globally measure, they rank the country in terms of the maturity levels. Now, what do the country do, what do the government in each and every country do in order to make sure that they come up in these reports as the trusted country when it comes to handling and managing the data? So country wise, we have different bodies within the ministries of the government. So if you are aware, in Saudi Arabia, we have an organization called Sadaya, which is under the ministry of Saudi Data and AI Authority. So Sadaya has the practice of National Data Governance Office, which monitors and which checks the maturity indexes of the companies across which are registered in Saudi Arabia. So same way, if we talk about in India, we have another body, another organization under Ministry of IT and Telecommunication, which is Digital India Corporation. India has India Data Management Office, which is IDMO, which is currently not rolled out, but it is going to be rolled out soon in 2027. So likewise, what we understand here is that globally there is a lot of seriousness when it comes to government level, organization level today, in when we talk about managing the data, governing the data, and maintaining the data in the organizations as an asset. Now, this is where various topics related to data management comes into picture. So far in the two slides, we have seen that data management is important because it is being monitored, its maturity level is being monitored at global level as well as at country level. And these are all done because we have to make sure that there is least number of the cases when the security issues or fraud issues or privacy issues. So we need to tackle all these when we deal with the data, because the data of any country or any organization will consist of uh, the data which is sensitive. It will be related to the demographic information, or it may be related to the medical information of an individual, or it may be related to some finance salaries. So if you think of any field, any organization, any field, it deals with the data. There is part of the data which is sensitive. It requires certain securities policies which should be in place. And overall, keeping in view the growth of the data, there is huge volume of data growth across when we have different type of storage systems which and applications which generates a lot of data. So seeing volume of data, the seriousness with respect to the nature of data, we have to manage the data from all aspects. So when we talk about all aspects, DAMA International, which is the body of knowledge for the data, it is one of the organization which provides us with respect to best practices in each and every areas of data management. So these are the subject areas with respect to the data management, which covers the whole aspect of data. In the center, you will see data governance. Data governance is the part of the data management which deals with the legislative and compliance related views of the data. So it governs the overall areas of data management, the policies, the procedures which comes into the picture for each and every areas of data management, at every level, be it at organization level or country level or global level. So we have a part of data management which looks into it, which focuses into it, and we have the people with the skill sets who works as the data governance. So apart from data governance, there are technical areas of data management, which we call it as subjects of data management, the subject areas of data management. So right now we will just see those subject areas, and we will get into the details of one of the subject area, which is data quality. So apart from data quality, as you can see here in the wheel, we call it the DAMA wheel, which comprises of all the subject areas. So all aspects of data management are highlighted here in this wheel, and each area is a necessary part of a mature data management organization. Now, when you think of data management, I mean, just to explain to the persons who are new in this domain, so that they have the complete understanding of what we do in the data domain. So on the left hand side, let's see one by one. Manage shared data assets. So what do we mean by shared data asset? Let's think at an organization level. So at an organization level, we may have certain data sets which are important for the enterprise, and it is shared across the departments. And most common examples are product and customers. So these are the key data assets which has to be managed in a system, governed in a system, because if these data are having issues, if these data are having problems, then it leads the entire organization into the problem. It impacts the business very heavily. So when it comes to managing our shared data asset, we have master and reference data subject area, which we have seen in the DAMA wheel in the previous slide. System to system communication is another important need for any organization, which we call, which we solve it using the data integration and interoperability subject area. So this subject area, this is another domain, another area of data management, which helps us to integrate the data across different systems, different applications which are used by the organization, and it helps us to the applications within the organization to communicate with each other. So if we talk in a very layman terms, we may be having the data which is being shared. I mean, if we are running a business, we may use data from various stakeholders. We may get data in form of a file, we may get data in form of a paper, and now you may need the information to be passed from one particular department to another particular department. So now in the digital age, when these information are being passed from one application, one department or unit to another unit, it is being done through a well-defined process of data integration and interoperability. The next one comes data to value or trend analysis. That means when you are functioning, when you are running your daily operations, the people on the senior management level, on the directors level, chief level, they may want to see how the company is performing, how the organizations are performing. So this is where the data warehouse and business intelligence comes into the picture. Not only that, there are organizations who deal with the business of generating the reports, the analytical products, and they sell those products in the market. So for them, the solution of data warehouse and business intelligence is one of the key solution which they have to implement, and they have to manage that in their organization. And at a foreign organization which doesn't deal with data products or any kind of selling of the data related products, they have to have still the business intelligence and data warehouse so that they can manage their whole enterprise globally, and they can have the complete reporting of how their company is performing, what are the KPIs, what are the performance. Those can be tracked using this the processes which are defined within the data warehouse and business intelligence. We have another area which is the other three areas which you see, which will be not a direct, I mean, if you look at right away, you may feel that these areas are something which is not giving me value directly, but there is a need of this, because in order to generate any kind of value from data, in order to generate any kind of report from data, the first thing which we need to do is we need to ascetize the data. I can see Amit Tiwari, you have raised your hand. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and ask. You can unmute yourself.
Oh, Tariq, that was for introduction session. Okay, you can continue.
Okay. Yeah. So the next three parts, I mean, the next three areas of data management are related to assetization of data. So when I say assetization of data, so we started this session with the word data economy. So obviously economy, we if we think in terms of financial economy, we talk about the assets, we talk about, I mean, asset is something which is important to be maintained, to be managed. So same way we think about the data. When it comes to the data economy, until and unless we assetize the data, we treat the data as our asset of our organization, we will not be able to generate value from the data. We will not be able to get the, I mean, get the real benefit from the data which we have in our hand. Now, in order to get the benefit, we have certain supporting functions within data management which are fundamental, and this has to be implemented. So they are data catalog and data discovery. So data catalog and data discovery area, if you want to build a data catalog, so first of all we need to understand what is data catalog. So data catalog is something which will help you. It's like a menu card. It's like, in simplest form, it's like a menu card. So if you go to a restaurant, we may look for what all items are there in the restaurant. So same way, in data catalog, you will see the fields. What are the fields? What are the important business terms which the organization deals with? So you will have all business terms and related things in the data catalog, and that will be linked to the technical tables, fields which exist across the organization in different departments. So maintaining a data catalog is one important part of the data assetization. And in the data management subject area from DAMA, it is known as metadata management. So metadata management deals with cataloging of the information related to the data. So we have the next area, which is data trust, which is going to be our subject of discussion in this session and tomorrow's session, that is data quality. So it talks about that when you assetize your data, it is very important that you have to maintain the quality of your data. And obviously, we are going to talk about this further in this training session. Legislation of data, that means the policies, the rules around the data, the procedures around the data. So we have a dedicated function for that, that is data governance. And overall architecture of the data. When it comes to overall architecture of the data, that means how do you model a data, because different requirements will be there in different organization, and within the same organization there will be different requirements around the data. And until and unless we present the data in the form we need, in the format we need, the information, it is very difficult to extract the information from that data. So in order to make the data presentable, in order to make the data of use for as per the requirement, we have to have the skill sets of modeling the data, planning the data, designing the data, and this is all covered, and we talk about all these in the subject area called data modeling. So I believe, I mean, with this slide, you are able to connect to the different subject areas of the data management, and you are able to understand that what is importance of having each and every subject area. So I will just go back to the previous slide, and I will hold on this for 30 seconds. You can just see these different subject areas in the DAMA wheel, and you can, if you have any questions, any kind of clarifications needed with respect to the entire thing which we discussed till now, or if you need any details of any of the areas which are shown here for the data management, you are most welcome, and you can ask me questions. Okay, let's proceed. I believe either I am able to explain things very clearly, or things are not clear, so questions are not there. So either of the case. Anyways, let's proceed further. We will get down into the more details. Now it's the right time. Before we get into the actual subject, the data quality and data quality management, let me introduce our motive of our sessions. So actually, we are dheerayatsolutions. This is a non-profit organization. It's a forming chapter of DAMA International in India, and the episodes which we have launched starting from today, known as Data Artist by Dhirayat Solution. It's a community building initiative of the company, and we have our partner EmergenTeck, who is supporting us with respect to the training platform, webinars, and for any kind of specialized training courses and all, you can connect with EmergenTeck, who can help you with the detailed professional courses of related to data management, related to AI, RPA, and digital transformation. Myself, I am Tariq Ahmed. I have a 20 years of experience in data management. I am a CDMP master, and I am the host and co-founder for Data Artist by The Rise Solution. So we will be sending across the webinar links, where we will be talking about various subjects of the data management on weekly basis. So if you get interested to these subjects and in these discussions, and if you want to participate in this, we have a lot of sessions coming up, and it will be communicated by EmergenTeck through LinkedIn. Now let's get into the subject of data architecture. So before we go to the data quality, we have to understand what is data architecture. What is, we already understood what is data management. Now we need to understand that as per the TOGAF view of the architecture, where does data architecture stand? So if you look, if we try to implement the any kind of application or any kind of solution in an organization, the first thing which has to be in place is the business architecture, which provides the abstract view of any organization. When I say abstract view of any organization, that means what are the capabilities, what are the peoples, what are the departments. So these are the things which has to be defined in form of an architecture, and the capabilities, the values, the value propositions, these are all things which are defined in the business architecture of an organization. Post business architecture comes the application architecture. So when we talk about application architecture, it is basically about the architecture of individual applications which are used by the organization. So depends on the business of the organization, they will have different kinds of application, and you will have the application architects in the organization. You will have another area of architecture when it comes to the data management. So you can see on the right hand side, I have listed some technologies, some technology area, most of them might be known to you. So these are the technologies we talk about when it comes to the data platform implementation and data management implementation. So there is the fourth area of architecture, which is data architecture. So data architecture is something which sits between the business architecture, and it connects business architecture to the application architecture, which is implemented on the technologies. So when we look into the business model, the business architecture, so from there we derive what are the data management subject areas. We derive the data models from there. We derive the data catalogs, and then much more we go into defining the data quality rules for the important business terms. We define the master and reference data for the organization, and then if we have all these things in place, we get into the next layer, which is the reporting and value generation. That is about dashboards and business analytics and reports. So this is just an overall view to explain you what exactly the data architecture is and how it relates to the other areas of architecture. Now, data management framework, this is a very generic framework, and this is having basically five areas, five key components of data management. So data governance, which oversees, this is across all the process and life cycle of data. Data protection and classification is same. It is across the life cycle of the data from design till termination of the data. And in between, we have two fundamental areas, which is data assetization and data usage. Now, why we need to understand the data management framework? Because in this session, when we are going to talk about data quality, we have to be very clear that in the overall data management framework, where does the data quality sits? So data quality, as you can see from this current slide, data quality is a component, is an area, or is a skill which is part of the data assetization component of the data management framework. Apart from data quality, as I have mentioned in the previous slide, we have other areas, other specializations and skills of data quality related to data quality. They are data modeling, they are data operations, data cataloging, document and content management, reference and master data. Now, if we have these fundamental things in place in any organization, then we are at the right stage, at the right position to generate the values from the data. So when it comes to generating the values from the data, that is, we are looking into the component of the framework which is related to the data usage. Under data usage comes data integration and interoperability and business intelligence and warehouse. Above this, I have not mentioned in this framework. It is, we are, DAMA is going to upgrade the framework, and this framework is going to further include the AI use cases which will come as part of the data usage. So basically, whether it is AI or you are generating the metrics and KPIs through business intelligence, or you are doing data sharing, any kind of function in your organization, the six blocks which you see as part of data assetization is fundamental, is of primary importance. Without those building blocks, it is We can say it is very, very difficult. It is very difficult to generate the accurate information. It is very much difficult to train any AI models also. If so, if any organization wants to go for generating the value from the data, they have to have these fundamental areas in place: the design of the data, quality of the data, cataloging of the entire data, and having all these in place, we can go for the proper utilization of the data. Now, coming to the subject, let's start with the concepts of data quality. There are some keywords which I have highlighted in this session, in this slide. The keywords are not new. You might have heard this multiple times across. Data quality makes data fit for purpose. The point here, fit for purpose, is very important to understand the depth of it, because when we talk about data quality, it is always associated with the end use of the data. An organization may launch a product today, and they may ask the team to do the data quality checks and validations with respect to the product they have launched. Now, the kind of data quality checks, the kind of data quality rules which will be applied with respect to that requirement will always differ from the requirement which will come for another product or another value which the organization will be generating. So, purpose is something which drives the requirement for data quality. So, we cannot have one set of data quality built once and then the organization runs forever with that set of data quality rule. So, data quality is always a program, it's never a project. So this is the first understanding which we must have when we talk about the data quality. Data is fit for the need of data consumers. So whenever we talk about the quality of data, our objective is that we must make the data fit for the need of data consumers. So there can be multiple data consumers in an organization. So as per the need of consumer, there can be multiple types of data quality which has to be implemented. Data quality is the degree to which the dimensions meet the requirement. So dimensions are basically different criterias by which we measure the data quality. We will look into the detail in the next slide. So basically, we make sure that the dimensions are defined in a way that it meets the requirement end use. So all these statements tells us that it is the end use which drives this data quality need and the requirement. So data quality need can never come until and unless we have a vision or we have a use of the information or the data at the other side. So when we talk about data quality, we must have a system for data quality management. So data quality management system, it will ensure that you keep on improving the quality of your data, of your important data on an ongoing basis, because the rules which are defined for data quality are again very dynamic. It requires modification. The number of rules keeps on increasing, decreasing over the period of time as the data passes through different stages, and as new products are launched, as the products are decommissioned. So the requirements and the business purpose is very closely associated with this area. Data as an asset has asset class of data. So today, again, as an asset, we always talk about data as an asset. So the asset class of data, like open data, whether it is shared data or closed data. So data quality applies to all the asset class of data. Now let's get into the concepts of data quality. I am not going to touch upon all the concept of data quality in this session. There are two key concepts of data quality which is important for any beginner to understand what data quality is. So I will touch upon those two concepts, and these concepts are the principles which comes from the DAMA DM book. The first concept before we start taking the requirement for any projects, in any project, before we take requirement for data quality, the first thing which we have to understand is, or we need to make our stakeholder understand is, what is critical data. So we must understand what is important. We cannot do data quality for all the information which we hold in an organization or any entity, any government entity or private companies, whatever applications they have. They will have a lots of information, lots of data, and lots of obviously the attributes and fields. It will be in thousands. So we cannot build data quality rules on each and every field. We have to always associate it with the value proposition of the organization. We have to always associate data quality with what is the end use, what the consumer needs. So in order to demonstrate that, I have put for you here an example. For example, if I have to define myself, if I have to talk about what are the mm, demographic attributes related to the person here, John, in this table, and we have multiple details related to this person here. You can see date of birth, address, phone, education level, occupation, and salary. Now, when we talk about the critical data, we cannot say critical data until and unless we know the need of the data or the need of the information. So if, for example, if the person being talked about here, if we want to, I mean, if he goes to a hospital, for example, and he has to record his information in the patient information system. So in that case, out of these 7 fields here, what are the important fields which is important for him when we record his information in the patient information system? So obviously name, date of birth, address, and phone number. These are key field. This becomes critical when we look into this uh, record or this person as a patient. For example, if he goes to any financial institute to take some credit facility, at that point of time, the address and phone number doesn't become critical for him much. What is critical there is what is his current occupation, what is his age, what is salary. So these are more important as compared to the other things, other fields, like as you see here, like address and phone numbers when it comes to the credit facility. Or for example, there is some information he has to enter to get some delivery or parcel or anything. At that point of time, address and phone number becomes critical. So this example here is to help you understand what a critical data element is. So critical data element is something which is an important element, and this important element can only be judged with respect to the end use of the information, the kind of information where it has to, I mean, the consumer of the information. So when you know the consumer, you know the requirement. When you know the requirement, you know what are the field which matters there. And then we define that out of the whole set of attributes, what are my critical data. So when I define my critical data, my next step is to define the data quality rules, business rules. Obviously, it's part of the requirement. And data quality management, before we go to measure the data quality, we and the data quality management has two contexts. We need to understand that. So when we implement the data quality from the context of reporting and analysis on the data, so which we call it data platform context. So our main objective is always to improve the quality of data on the ongoing basis, so that your end reports, your end applications or reports which will be generated will be more accurate. It will be with more accuracy. When it comes to the operation context, building the application, data quality comes into picture there as well. So data quality management there ensures that whatever the dependent processes are there in the organization, whatever dependent applications are there, they deliver the expected results. So data quality is important from both operational perspective and from the data reporting perspective. Now, dimensions of data quality. So when we talk about the quality of data, it is very important for us to have some criteria, to have some uh, set of ways to measure the quality of data. So, for example, you have a set of data which you have seen in the previous slide. Now you need to collect the requirement for data in terms of its data quality from its end use. So obviously, first thing we need to do is we need to understand that from the end use perspective, what are the different dimensions which we need to measure for the data quality. So the most common dimensions, when I say common dimensions, means these kind of dimensions are almost important in all the requirement, like completeness. So obviously there will be multiple set of attributes based on which you will be reporting or you will be sharing the information. So there will be some critical attributes which you cannot go with the missing value, or there is a value but that value is unusable. So any in any example, I mean in any data set, if you see there is a missing value for an attribute, that means the data quality has the completeness issue. We have other data quality dimensions, consistency. That means if the information which you are sharing is having the conflicting information, you have multiple reports showing same critical elements, but you have conflicting information across different reports. That means you are with the consistency issue of the data quality. Accuracy is another dimension with which the quality of data is measured. So for accuracy, what we measure here is that how closely the data represents the real world. When I say how closely data represents the real world, that means the data must be validated and authenticated with the authoritative source of data. So we will get into the details of this when we see how to implement the data quality. But for now, you need to build your concepts. So the concept here is about measuring the data quality, and measuring can be done in terms of the data quality dimensions. Timeliness is another important factor with which the data quality is measured. So outdated data in many scenarios, in many requirement, outdated data is always of no use. So if there are some requirements where you may need the data which is fresh as of the last hour or last 30 minutes or last second, there may be some applications or some reports for which the data last 1 month data and the having the history of entire 5 years 10 years matters. So for different kind of use there is different definition of outdated. So but outdated information, checking the freshness of the data using the timeliness data quality dimension is one of the key fundamental data quality dimension which is very important. Validity means there will be some logic, there will be some calculation logic across the numeric field, or there may be some logical mm, uh, checks across the business fields. So any business, they may have their own rule, and if those rules are being violated, then the data has the validity issue. Uniqueness is very simple to understand. In case if you have duplicates in your data which has been submitted to you or it has come from the source, so these duplicate information, I mean duplicate record is a big issue. It can change the numbers, it can make the reports incorrect. So checking on the uniqueness of data is one of the important dimension of data quality. Integrity is key another fundamental important dimension. That means you are having, for example, in a school, we have two data sets. One data set lists all the teachers in the school. Another data set lists the classes and the class teacher name. Now, the data set which is having listing the classes has the teacher name which doesn't exist in the list of teacher. That means it's a integrity issue. We have a field which is referenced in the child table which doesn't have existence in the parent table. Likewise, there can be many other examples of integrity in banks or financial institution. If you have any transactions or accounts which doesn't have a individual or a company associated with it, that is an integrity issue. So these kind of things are grouped into all the issues of data quality, all the rules which we check for the data quality. The when we implement the project, we have to measure the data quality score. We have to measure the how good the data quality is in terms of the we have to quantify the quality of data. And some organizations are there which also calculates the cost of incorrect data. So these are the concepts which comes from the data quality dimensions, and this is the importance of data quality dimension. If you have the dimension, if you group your data quality rules into dimension, further it will help you to quantify your data quality score, and it will help you to calculate what is the loss the organization has if it has a data quality issue of certain kind on certain key data element under certain dimension. The remaining two, conformity and reasonability. Conformity is about the following standards. So basically, you may have an attribute which may have a value active, inactive. You cannot accept any other value apart from that. So that means if there is any system which provides you with the value which is not part of the format, that means it has conformity issue. Reasonability is newly added data quality dimension. That means unusual behavior tracking. So if you have suppose you have some stakeholders who who has some contract or deal with you to share some data to your organization. Now, when they are sharing some list of maybe some list of equipments or list of accounts or things, now along with the status and all those things, now if there is any unusual behavior, like if for example there is a bank which is sharing with you the list of account, and then all of a sudden next day they share with you the list of account and they mention as all accounts are closed. That means this is a unusual behavior. So likewise, these kind of the behavior issues of the data which can be learned using some AI techniques, which can be which can be implemented using some normal data quality processes also, and learning from the history on the behavior of certain data element. And if the behavior is above or below some threshold, that becomes an issue of the data quality. So keeping all these things, keeping all these dimensions, we are able to measure the data quality, and that is the goal of having the whole dimensions. So this is something where I would like you all to have a look into this. There are some fields here. This is some set of data which you can see in front of you. You have customer ID, you have customer name, business type, whether it is a person or a business. You have invoice date. This is just a sample. Customer status, whether it is live or it's terminated. You have some turnover figures, you have addresses, and so on. What do you need to do here? From the understanding which you have got in this session, against each color code, you need to mark what data quality dimension issue is highlighted in these colors. For example, the first one, which is amber color. So what could be the data quality dimension issue there? The one which is marked in yellow, it highlights another data quality dimension issue. Green one, another. So there are almost 7 to 8 data quality dimensions we have seen in our previous slide. And this example will help you to understand that what is the data quality. I mean, how do we identify the data quality issue and under which dimension should we categorize them? So let's have a look into this. I will give some 1 minute time to everyone to have a look into this and note down. So after 1 minute, we will see what is the mm, kind of issues which are highlighted here in this example. So anyone would like to raise hand and give the answers, you can go ahead and let us know that what are the data quality issues which are defined here and what did you identify, what kind of issues against the color code. We can validate your answers.
The first one is completeness. The data is
The
empty. The
first one,
cells are,
completeness, correct?
yeah.
Yes.
And the yellow is conflicting because the address doesn't seem to make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
It says care of, and the green one is again accuracy. It says BK Engineering, and it should be a company, but it's written here as a person.
Great. Okay. How about the purple one?
The purple one.
That's the missing data.
Mm-hmm. No. Okay. I mean, good. I mean, thank you. I'm happy to know that you have tried from your side. Let's see the answers. The first one you have mentioned very correctly, it is completeness. So, completeness, let's repeat the definition. The definition of completeness was either the data will be missing on certain key attributes, critical attributes. And for, by the way, I mean, for sake of this example, let's consider that all the attributes are important and critical. So here, the invoice date is missing in the third column, and there is a turnover which is 0. So that means 0 is something which is a value, but it is uh, not a it is a incorrect value. So basically, if you have information which is not usable, or if you have the meaning information which is missing, both counts to completeness issue. So that is the concept here for completeness. The second one, it is conformity. So that means it doesn't conform to the address. You can see 31G, it doesn't conform to the format of the address here. Or if you see the first one, uh, it doesn't have the numbers, or this, it doesn't conform to the format. So it is a conformity issue. The green one is a consistency issue, because a company name is written against a person. It's, if person is defined as a business type company and vice versa. So it's a consistency issue. The purple one is uniqueness issue. So if you see, both are person, though names are little different, names can be different, but if you see the ID numbers, if you see the type, business type, other fields, terms, things, they are mostly, they represent a duplicate records. And the last one is a accuracy issue. There cannot be a address with the name as sale. It doesn't represent the real world. So it is a accuracy issue. So this is just a simple example to demonstrate this. These definitions are to be studied in more details. There are more examples. So this is just, day one, an awareness session where we need to just have a understanding of that. We have different data quality dimensions. We should have understanding of why we need data quality dimension. We need data quality dimension because at the end, our objective is to measure the data quality, and measuring data quality is something which is an important part. It's a mandate to any organization, any government entities in whichever country there is a data governance, national level data governance being tracked, or the data management maturity level being monitored. So every organization, it becomes their responsibility to provide provide such data quality, maturity, and data quality scores related information, maturity level related information to the regulators. And to provide that, they must have a data quality system which can measure in terms of dimensions, and dimensions can help you to quantify it. That is the whole idea which we want to demonstrate here. Let's go to the next part, data quality in practice. So let's take a 5 minutes break here, 5-10 minutes break. It's 4:40 by KSA time. I think Indian time it is 37:10. Let's meet after 10 minutes, that is 4:50, and we will start talking about what kind of projects we have in data quality in any organization, what are the scopes, what are the skill sets. We will talk about those things. And obviously, when we talk about those, we will introduce you to the Informatica data quality tool. So let's meet at 4:50 and continue our session. In the break time, if you have any questions or anything, you can go ahead and ask me till we start. Okay, let's continue. Uh, Please raise your hands or react if you are back and if you are okay to continue. Good. I can see one, two. Okay. Mm, Let's wait 5 minutes more because only 2 or 3 persons are back. Okay, let's begin now. So far we have gone through the theoretical concepts. We have understood what is data management, what is data quality, where does data quality sit, or what is the position of data quality in the overall framework of data management. We have learned the essential concepts of data quality, that is the dimensions and critical data elements. So with this basic knowledge, we are good to kickstart with the practical implementation, and we are good to start with talking about the projects, the data quality solutions, which we actually do in our data quality or data management practice in any organization or in as part of any data quality projects. So basically, in our session, we are going to base our training, our understanding on the product which is from Informatica, that is Informatica Data Quality. Of course, there are other products in the market when it comes to uh, doing the data quality at large scale, measuring the data quality and all those stuff. Data quality can also be implemented using the scripts and programming languages. So it depends on the organization, it depends on the budget, it depends on the data quality needs of the organization to take a decision in terms of which product to go ahead with. Today, if we look at the global practice, Informatica Data Quality is the leading data quality product in the market. And there are data quality functions and there are benefits, the out of the box features, which makes this product as one of the best product in the market when it comes to the data quality. And just for those who are new to Informatica, new to data management, so basically Informatica is a company which deals with the data management product stack. So when I say data management product stack, that means this company has the product for each and every areas of data management which we have seen in theory sometime back. So we have enterprise data catalog, we have the data governance tool called Action, we have enterprise uh, Informatica data quality, the data quality tool, we have the power center of Informatica, which is for data integration. So likewise, I mean, for each and every areas of data management, Informatica has its own product stack. So today we are going to learn about the data management project solutions, and today we are going to just see what are different kinds of projects, what are the benefits which organization takes from implementing this, and what if we are taking up the data quality project as a consultant or as a vendor, then what are the important considerations, what are the important points which we need to have in our mind when we provide a solution to our customer or when we do the estimation for the project. So these are the things we need to first understand at a high level, and then we will end up the session for today. And tomorrow's session will be totally dedicated to the actual practice. That means I will be getting into the Informatica data quality tool tomorrow. We will not be walking through slides. So from the data quality tool, I will walk through same slides, same examples, and then in the data quality tool, how to configure that, how to implement that. We will be looking into into those things. So this is the summary of overall program for today and tomorrow. So let's first get into the data quality projects and solutions. Okay. So when we talk about the data quality projects, which are there, which I mean common data quality projects, all the projects can be grouped into three categories. So data quality project can be gating projects. We will see what is gating projects. It can be fixing project or it can be reporting project. So let's see one by one what we mean by gating project and what we mean by fixing project and what we mean by reporting projects. So there are customers who comes with a requirement that I am having a business of collecting data from across multiple stakeholders in the country or globally. They do the business of data collection, and then they do some maybe they will do some overall reporting analytics, and then they sell the data information. They will sell the information. So they may have this kind of business, and where they are collecting data sets, similar type of data set from multiple stakeholders from multiple systems of data. So in those scenario, they may have a requirement that I want to build a quality check gate when the data enters into my organization boundary. So in that scenario, the kind of data quality project which we implement, the kind of solution which we can implement using IDQ, Informatica Data Quality, is called key gating projects. They are called gating project. Our objective here is to build the data quality check gate for any data which is entering the organization. There can be fixing project. So maybe there is a scenario where an organization is having multiple applications for different purpose, and then they want to load the data into a data platform or a data warehouse from where they can do the reporting. But before doing the reporting, they have some internal data standards, they have some cleansing policies and procedures which needs to be implemented before the data gets loaded into the reporting system itself. So there they require the data quality team or a specific consultants or the implementers to implement a fixing project. This is what is known as data cleansing project. Our work major target here is to use the data quality platform to read the data in the format in which it exists in the application, or it can be beyond the organization boundary also. And then we have some set of rules which is given by the data governance unit within the organization, that these are the rules and these are the standards which has to be followed before we get into the reporting part of the system. So there we implement the fixing project of data quality, and that does the data cleansing job. Mostly fixing project comes into the picture whenever there is a need of merging of organizations. There is merging and takeover happens, keeps on happening globally. And whenever such situations happen, so there is merging of employees, there is merging of customers, merging of different kind of data sets. So when this merging acquisition happen, new kind of standards are developed, and then based on new kind of standards and references, the data has to be cleansed and brought into the application in the acceptable format and all. So the cleansing is something which is needed on the data. So data migration is another example. For example, an organization is planning to migrate from some legacy system to some improvised system, some new ERP solution, and they are going to stop, or they are going to end the existing legacy system. So they may want their data and all the things which sits in the application to be moved to the new application. So this is a one-time project. Now when the data moves from the legacy to the new application, obviously new application means it will have some more controls, some more security checks. It cannot accept the data as it is, which comes from the legacy system. So for that, there is a data quality project need. There are systems like Informatica Data Quality, which can help the organization to fix the data, cleanse the data, and then load it into the target platform. There are projects where organization's main objective is just to perform the data quality checks across different systems in the company, and then finally build a reporting repository of data quality observation itself. And then they build a dashboard to publish the data quality scores, to publish the scores for each data quality dimension, overall scores, and so on. So this is called reporting project on data quality. And there can be some complicated requirement which will require you to have all the categories of projects within one program or one project. It can have a component of getting, it can have a component of fixing the data, and then it can have a third layer component of reporting the data quality. So it can be mix of multiple categories of project as shown here, or it can be a single project. Based on the requirement, we first of all try to identify what category of data quality project it is. Based on that comes the costing, comes the estimation, and then we determine the complexity of the project, timeline of the project, etc. Now in the right hand side you see the list of examples. So these are some general scenarios as I have been talking now, like data migration, merging, or there can be master data projects. So these kind of project basically needs data quality as a prerequisite. So this is, with these examples you will come to understand that when organization needs data quality, and when there are such kind of projects, such kind of requirements, when is the right time to inform to your customer that okay, when you are doing this solution, it is right to do data quality first. Otherwise the solution you are building will end up with some incorrect results and incorrect solution itself. So the first one, integration competency center development. So integration competency center development means you are building a data integration hub within the organization. So whenever you are having the data integration and interoperability processes within your organization, you must have the data quality checks implemented before doing the any kind of integration, whether it is through API or through the enterprise data integration tools or anything. There must be a data quality function. When it comes to master data management projects, the projects where organization try to their objective is to have the master data maintained in one system, collected in one system, and then uh, the trustable master data, they want to report on the trustable master data. So bringing in the feature of trust on the master data is the job of data quality. So data quality is always a prerequisite for any master data projects in any organization. Data integration project driven by merger and acquisition, I just talked about that whenever there is any merger acquisition happening within the in the organizations or within any sector, then there is a data integration projects which comes up when data integration projects are there. Obviously, there has to be the data cleansing, fixing along with it in order to maintain the standards and consistency. Addressing specific data quality issues. So if you have a team of knowledge worker in the organization, obviously they will be working on the data, on the information day to day basis. They will come up with many data quality issues that will be cataloged in the enterprise data catalog. Now the issues has to be resolved, issues has to be fixed. We need a system to, or we need a program to fix those data quality issues. So this is where data quality project comes into the picture again. Quality based initiatives like Six Sigma. So there are the practices, Six Sigma practicing companies. There are other companies which they may practice on some sort of other standards. So whenever such practice qualities are in place, obviously it drills down to data and quality of data. Data migration warehouse, no need to explain, we are very clear. These platforms and these solutions needs data quality. Quality data for AI model training and all. So if you are having any initiative in the organization to build some AI ML model and train the model, so data that is being fed into the model, it has to undergo some basic data quality checks before you feed such data to the model. Otherwise, the accuracy gets impacted. So with this, you understand that there are different kinds and categories of data quality projects, and organizations are there which has the need of such projects. And as a implementer, as a consultant, we have to look into the project and categorize them in order to provide the solution. If we are not able to categorize the project, it becomes difficult to estimate the project and give the accurate timeline for the project. And obviously, it impacts the costing of the project. Use cases, that means benefits. You may have a question that we have been talking about for more than 1 hour about the theoretical concepts of data quality, standards of data quality, and need from the government point of view. But what are the benefits apart from all this? Why do any company may want to implement the data quality? What is the objective of implementing? So, for example, we have a customer support team in any organization. It can be any kind of company. They have a customer support team. They want to reduce the call time. So obviously they need to monitor and see what are the kind of issues and what kind of data the call customer support team deals with. How can we make the quality of data good, quality of information good enough, so that the information that is displayed to them on the screen about the customer, when it comes to their phone number or other details, these are accurately captured, these are quality checked information, and they are able to support the customer on time and with good quality. Avoid return shipments. So shipments means they can be delivery companies, shipment delivery companies and all. So if they are not maintaining the quality data when it comes to the address, contact details of the customers and clients, it will lead to losses, huge losses in their business. So they will always want that they have the correct information, correct details of the address captured in the right format. So again, data quality comes into the picture for such kind of use cases. Detect regulatory laws violations. So when there are companies like hospitals, banks, or any other insurance company, every organization, company are regulated by some government bodies. So in order to make sure that they are compliant with the laws and the policies which comes from the regulator, they have to make sure that the data is not violating any data quality rules that are derived from those regulatory laws. So this becomes a very important need for any financial institute or medical pharmacy or insurance companies, because they may end up paying huge fines if the quality of the data is incorrect, the report is not accurate, and then it impacts their business, their service to the end users. Everything will get impacted because of the quality of information. So to fulfill the regulatory laws, the data quality systems and this use cases comes into the picture. BI metrics accuracy. So again, BI metrics is something which is used by top level management, the chiefs and directors, CEOs in the organization to monitor the performance of their company. So they will have various KPIs to monitor. Now the accuracy of those KPIs are fully dependent on the quality of data which is used to calculate those KPIs. If the data is of bad quality, the KPI will never give the correct picture to the senior management, and it can lead to the wrong decisions in the company. Increase customer satisfaction is something same as reduce customer support time. So it is basically, if you are dealing with the customer, on call with the customer, so instead of asking multiple questions, repeated questions to the customer in repeated calls, you may have the correct proper data in front of you and trusted data in front of you to have the best customer experience. Reusable data quality and business rules. So organizations who are matured enough in the data management, they always come up with some basic fundamental business rules for data quality, and they use those rules as a reusable rules in implementing any kind of application. So we will learn about this when we look into the practice of data quality using IDQ. So we have a component called rule specification, which helps us to build reusable rules for the organization. So basically the idea here is that the team builds the rules once and uses that rules across different enterprise, different applications in the enterprise in order to perform same kind of check. So it basically reduces your maintenance cost and it is easy to do any kind of change or modification on the rule. It can no need to do it on multiple places. If you did not have such reusable rule, you would have ended up implementing same rule in different applications, and when it comes to change, it becomes difficult to manage. So these are some use cases which I have picked up to demonstrate the benefits of data quality for you. Now, before we again get into the development part of the data quality using IDQ, we must know that what are the different types of solution architectures which exist and which can be implemented using any data quality tool. So this is irrespective of Informatica data quality. Again, as we have seen, like there are three categories of data quality projects. So there are three categories of data quality solution architecture. So it's like if you have a gating project, you have a gating solution architecture. If you have a reporting project, you will follow the reporting solution architecture. And if you have a fixing project, cleansing project, whereby you are creating a trusted set of information for the organization, you follow the match and hub architecture of data quality. So based on the purpose, we have different solution architecture. And as I have mentioned in the notes below, a data quality solution can have one or more types of architecture. So a solution which you are giving to your customer or your client can have, based on the requirement, can be a gating solution along with the reporting solution. Or it can be a gating solution and you have some fixing requirement there. So you are doing the match hub architecture along with the reporting architecture. So each architecture part becomes different components within the data quality function of that organization. But as for sake of correct estimation, for sake of correct costing, you need to categorize any requirement and map it to the kind of solution architecture which needs to be implemented. Now we will go deep into each type of solution architecture, how it looks like. because if you go through the solution architecture, this will give you a high level picture of what you are going to do using the tool Informatica Data Quality. If you don't have an understanding of the overall architecture of data quality, you will not be able to understand what is the end purpose of building the subcomponents or components within the IDQ tool itself. So the first architecture which is in front of you here is the reporting data quality architecture. Now let's try to understand what is a reporting data quality architecture. Let's focus on the data stores which are shown below. Source, that means a data is flowing from a source. It can be a file. Here I am representing it as a database. So it can be any stakeholder, internal or external, who is sharing a data with you in form of a file or database. You have a extraction process to read the data from that file or the data storage. You load it as it is in your database, which is called a landing database, and then you perform a data cleansing exercise and you load it into the staging database. So the bottom layer, which is ETL process, is just a generic ETL process, a very common ETL process put up here just to explain you what the reporting data quality architecture means. So now, if you assume that in your organization you have a ETL, a data flow process, which is helping you to move the data across different databases. Now, obviously, there will be a certain level of quality of that same data set in one application, and it will differ from the quality of same data set in different data store and so on. So basically, data quality reporting project, what it does is that in the whole journey of data, right from the source to the final destination, it has some rules. The maplets, here the term maplet is a Informatica data quality term. You can uh, for now, since you have not got into the details of the tools right now, so just assume for now maplet is a job which is running. It's a component of data quality inside which the rules are built. That is called maplet. This is the simplest way of defining maplet. So whatever rules you define here in the data quality reporting architecture, so these rules are just to check the health check on the data, just to do the health check on the data. You are not doing any kind of fixing or any kind of rejection using these rules. You are just doing the health check on the data, and then whatever observations you are getting with respect to your rules, you are loading those observation or storing those observation in the data quality reporting database. So whenever you read a requirement, you get a RFP from your customer and you see that the customer wants to report the data quality violation. In that scenario, what you need to do is that you need to uh, categorize such project as data quality reporting architecture, and similar kind of architecture has to be implemented and has to be defined for that organization. So basically, the organization needs one repository to store the data quality observation, and using any BI tool or technologies, they can read the observations from the data quality repository reporting database, and then they can display it in form of charts and graphs and whatever the end requirement is. So this is an example of the reporting architecture of the data quality. The another type of data quality architecture or data quality project which we talked about is data quality gating project. What is a data quality gating project? Is basically you make a checkpoint, you make a check gate for data quality within at certain stage within the organization boundary. Most recommended is that if you are exchanging data with your external stakeholders, you must implement data quality checkpoint at earliest stage when the data enters your organization. So there has to be, you can see something which is marked in green here, and it's written as data redistribution. So data redistribution is a logical component when the extraction is done from a database, and before we load it into the staging, we run some data quality check rule. Now, objective of those rule is to flag the records. Either you accept the record if it passes the rules or set of rules, or you reject the record as it is shown here in red, and then you send it back to the source system, the source who has given you the data. IDQ has a very important feature apart from that rejection part. Rejection part can be implemented without using the IDQ tool also, but this tool gives you the benefit of exception management. What is exception management? Basically, whatever data which you get from the source, and if there is a question on quality of data, and there are data steward, that means those people who manage the data within the organization, the administrator of the data, you have a feature to send the bad data to them. They can view from the browser or the screen and they can do the correction on the data, and either they can reject the data and send back to the source, or they can do the correction on the data and they can pass the data quality checkpoint. So this feature of data quality tool is known as exception management feature, and to implement that, we implement data quality exception maplet. Again, exception maplet is a component of data quality. We will have to learn about it, that how to develop data quality exception maplets. So try to note down today that what are the important terms which are useful. You must know these terminologies when you talk about data quality implementation with your customer or with your within your organization. So the feature of doing managing data quality exception is one of the key feature of data quality program, data quality system, and it is very helpful there. Now, if your rules are automated and your organization doesn't want that there is a human intervention needed in to reject the data or to accept the data, then you can very well ignore this part of exception management, and you can have just an automated process where, based on the flagging, if there is a failure in data quality check, the rejection data, it will pass through the rejection database and then it will go back to the source, and the accepted data will flow further into the organization data landscape through staging and then finally to the data warehouse, which is shown here in this example. It can be any downstream system, it can flow. So this architecture tells you that there is another kind of solution which, apart from reporting, which is known as DQ gating point, which can be implemented using Informatica Data Quality or any other data quality tool which is there in the market. The third and last use of data quality, as I told you, that any organization, they will always have a target, they will always have a need to maintain their master information in a very cleansed and with a good quality, trusted quality, so that they can refer to the master information within any application and they can have their operations very, very smooth. So this is the benefit of having the master data maintained in a single system, and that system is called MDM, Master Data Management System. Now, in order to implement or in order to master any data using Informatica Data Quality, so this is a very, this usually what happens is organization people will not have the complete knowledge of features of data quality, and the architects in the organization, they will end up purchasing the master data management tool, which is very, very costly. They will end up purchasing master data management tool for something which could have been done using Informatica Data Quality. So understanding this feature of data quality is very, very important, and it can save a lot of cost for your organization if you know this architecture. And there is a quite a lot of rules. There is a quite a lot of features you can use from the Informatica Data Quality in order to build a master data management solution. Obviously, there are some limitations when it comes to the identity resolution across different system, for which actually the master data management tool is there in the market. But most of the organization end up paying huge cost by implementing MDM as a separate project, whereas they just need to do the deduplication and standardization on their data to have a clean master data in their organization. So that's the reason this architecture, and understanding this architecture, implementing this using Informatica Data Quality is going to add a lot of value to your organization. So basically what we are doing here is, this kind of architecture is needed when you have multiple source systems submitting same kind of data. And obviously, if there are multiple systems or multiple people submitting you same information, then there can be lots of conflict. For example, there are three different systems sending sending my record with my name, date of birth, nationality, salary, all this information to an organization, and that organization may be some bureau, or maybe some organization which collects data from different sources. So one may spell my name in a different way, one may miss my last name, other may miss my middle name. So these kind of things keeps on happening. Date of birth may match, may not match. So many things are there which can happen. Conflicting information can come enter into the organization. But now there is a decision point to be taken when the architect has to implement a solution to finally have a clean data in the master data repository. They have to take a decision whether all these three different systems or three different stakeholders sending some information about a person, are they sending some ID number related information or ICAMA number or some any kind of identity information which is common across all the system. If the answer is yes, that means the identity, you are able to resolve the identity across different systems. You have ICAMA number in source 1, source 2, source 3. Or if you are doing a project in India, maybe you have some other number, voter number or Aadhaar number or anything which exists across the sources. That means identity resolution is not the problem in your data. The problem is consolidation, standardization, and maybe deduplication. So when this is the issue in data quality, then this is where match and hub architecture comes into the picture, where you can build a solution to standardize your data, to deduplicate your data, and finally load the data into the master data hub. You don't need a master data management solution here. When you need master data solution, when you are not able to resolve the identity using the ID fields, and the ID field doesn't exist across in different systems. So coming to the point, data quality hub is implemented in this kind of architecture. There are two parts of this architecture. The first part of this architecture is to standardize the data. So maybe source system 1 is sending the gender as MALE male, FEMALE female. The other one is sending as 1 and 0. The third one is sending as M and F. So obviously, before storing it in your cleansed data repository, you will want to have the genders, the code of the gender unified. So when I say unified, either you adopt as a as M and F as the standard representation of gender for your organization, or any other values or anything as per your need. And you need to make sure that the data is mapped in the correct way with the genders which exist in the different source systems. And finally, you get a consistent standard representation of that field. So this is just one simple example. So basically, in any standardization step of this architecture, you basically see that the data is meeting the threshold or not. When I say data meeting threshold, in this kind of example, M and F and this, if you get any kind of other values like ABC in the gender table, in the gender column, that means ABC doesn't mean anything. It doesn't, I mean, it's an unusable value. So basically, if gender is the basis on which you can reject the record, because every data quality rule has a weightage. So if you have just one rule in the system and that rule is violated, you consider the entire record as the bad data. At that event, you will push those records from source into the bad data uh, repository, which is shown here in the diagram. So again, how to deal with bad data? You can deal in the same way as you have seen here in the DQ gating solution. You can either build a exception management solution, or you can have a rejection DB, which is a bad data database, and push it back to the respective source system. So this is the choice as per choice of the solution and the requirement. Now further, if the data is within the threshold, that means it can be standardized and you have cleansed the data, fixed the data. The next thing you do a deduplicate checking. So if you find duplicates, then obviously you have to run through a process of data consolidation. So once again, there are three things we have learned here with respect to processing the data using Informatica Data Quality. The first thing we learned is there is a maplet for exception management. There is a second one, the maplet for data standardization, and third one, the maplet for data consolidation. So you know that two ID numbers are duplicates within same table or different table. Now the work of data consolidation using some rules or business rules can be done using the consolidation maplet. And finally, you have one golden record, which represents the entity which is coming across from multiple sources. Now we are towards the last part of this session. Maybe hardly some 15 minutes more. So this slide, this tells you if you are building a Informatica data quality solution, and in your organization you are having a process of data integration, how do you have both the processes running together? So this may be complicated for the beginners to understand this process because we are getting into more deep. So maybe I will come back to this slide when we will be discussing tomorrow again on the entire data quality process. So basically what this slide tells us is that we have data. When we do data integration from the source to target, we pass through multiple technical stages. And where does data quality fit into that stage? So this is a very important piece of information if you are doing the architecture and design for the data quality system. The important part, which is again, I have listed all those terminologies because we will be going through all these things in the IDQ training. Maybe some parts we will not go through due to limitation of time. And this is not a detailed, complete comprehensive training session, but we will try to touch on each and every features of IDQ using the tool. Now, what you need to understand here is the information which is given on the right hand side, that there are three type of roles. I mean, when you if you think in terms of using IDQ or developing your skills to do some job in the domain of data quality using Informatica data quality, then you need to look into each and every features of IDQ first, that what are different kind of responsibilities within IDQ for a person, and then you need to figure it out that which suits you best. Maybe you can fit in as an administrator. So I will introduce to you the administrator console of the product. What are the responsibilities of administrator in the next session tomorrow. You may fit into the role of IDQ analyst. The analyst is a person who engages with the business team, and then they collaborate, and then they get the data quality rules defined in the system. Or maybe you are a programmer, you are a developer, and you fit into the technical area where your job is to actually process those rules, those definitions through the data. And you basically build a data integration process for the data quality. So IDQ developer role is very close to the power center developers of Informatica. So they are actual technical people who develop the thing. They can be part of the business team, they can be part of the IT. It's because they need to understand both business and technical part. Administrators are purely at IT role, so they are part of the application infrastructure team. And IDQ analyst is a kind of functional role, you can say, because they are more into the business, and they understand the business and the data needs of the business, and then they build and catalog the data quality rules in the IDQ solution. So this is the last slide of this today's session. So basically the purpose here is to introduce to you the IDQ product architecture. It is not the data quality solution architecture. It is basically the product which you will be going through tomorrow. What are the services of that product? So no need to, if for people who are not very much technical, I will not go into the details of model repository analyst and all these things. All you need to understand is that whatever are the services, where is the information related to the codes which you develop, and whatever is being saved in any storage and all, that is something the next advanced level where you need to understand in detail. But when you deal with this product, when you deal with this tool, what are your user interface, that is most important for you to know. So if you are working as a administrator of IDQ, Informatica admin console, the Informatica administrator window is a browser-based window which shows the jobs of the IDQ and so on. If you are working as a data quality, you have another link which is browser based again. And then tomorrow we will be getting into details of Informatica Analyst, where I will teach you how to build the rules in IDQ, how to build the data quality dimensions, how to categorize the rules into dimension, and finally how to have a data quality score. This is the whole journey of the data quality solution. So all these things can be done using the Informatica Analyst. And the third interface, which is a thick client of this product, and this is used by the developers, the technical developers. So the only ones who are technical, who has some knowledge of data integration in past, they can understand and pick up this very quickly in a short session. So my objective is not to go into details of the features of Informatica developers tomorrow, because it requires a lot of prerequisites and understanding before that. So we will get into details of Informatica analyst, because this is something which connects with the business, and you can understand the use of using IDQ and connecting IDQ with the people. So this is a very important and key part of the data quality process. And Informatica developer role comes into the picture once the rules are developed, the definitions, the business terms and rules and things and everything is developed, scorecard is developed. Now to connect the logical objects, because analyst builds logical objects, to connect the logical object with the physical world. That means to connect the logic, the data quality rules with the actual data, that is done by the Informatica developer. So they actually build the mapping, utilize the rules which are created by the analyst, and they make sure that the data quality process works on the ground. So I think this is the last slide for today's session. And let's end this session here. We will meet tomorrow at the same time at 3:30 KSA time and 6 o'clock India time. Tomorrow session, we will be straight away getting into the Informatica Data Quality tool, the product itself. We will recap the concepts and theories which we have talked about in today's session, and that will give you a complete knowledge, at least an awareness of what data quality is in the data management framework. So thank you very much everyone for spending time here, and I hope this has been I have been able to give you some good information and good understanding of what the data management is, what data quality is, and it will help you for sure. If you are interested, if you see that, if you find yourself interested in this area, if you attend tomorrow's session, you will have quite a lot of knowledge. At least you can explain to anybody what we do using data quality and how we do the data quality checks. Thank you very much.